Hey guys, Bryce Tubbs here today. Super excited. I'm super excited because I actually prepared some notes today. If you want for me to share this note sheet with you for the free training, just basically everything we're going to talk about today, then comment document, and I will send it to you below. Comment document. Boom, 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 boom. Huh. Interesting. Okay, cool. So today, let's kind of jump into this thing. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how do my students sign up $3,000 per month worth of clients, and got a client to come back who said that she was too expensive about 6 months ago. So today it's going to be how to get $3,000 in monthly clients plus turn old no's into an astounding, excited yes. So number one, so this student, so when she was starting out, she was she was in AP in corporate America, but they weren't really giving her the respect that she deserved. Like she was working long hours, she was trying really hard, she was putting the time, she was going back for education so she could just keep improving her skills and just keep getting better and better and better and better. But the company wasn't really recognized that. Facebook, hey, someone said hi. If you could put your name down inside the chat. I'm using this thing called Restream. So I'm not directly on Facebook, so I can't really see the name of the person who's chatting. So if you could go and put your name down there, I could actually have a conversation with you. And just some housewarming things. Number one, if you want some help growing your business and you're trying this stuff on your own, but you just don't really know what to do and you want to skip the trial and error, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. Now going back to her, say, hey, Lena, hi, Lena, great to see you, great to see you. She said hi and she's watching live. Now, sometimes I might ask you guys inside this video to like the channel or to like the live as it goes up, so more people can see it. 'Cause I'm not charging money for this information inside of these live videos, so I just want to be seen by as many people as possible so we can help people out. So going back to the story, so she was in the AP, wasn't really getting the respect that she deserved because she was doing a lot of work, but they just kept like passing her up for promotions at work. She wasn't someone who was like really good at sales, so she wasn't always trying to be like in her boss's face saying, "Hey, promote me, promote me, promote me," right? So they always just kind of like let somebody else go ahead, and then they say, "Oh, hey, I forgot you were there," right? And she wanted to be able to travel more because at her job, she didn't really get a lot of travel time. Everything was like, she would wake up, she would go to work, she would get off around 6:20 ish. She would have an hour drive back home, and then she would get home, make dinner, eat dinner, watch some TV because you're just so tired from the day at work, right? And just repeat every single day, every single day. So she wanted to break from that pattern, and many people watching are in the same scenario. But what she ended up doing was we connected, we started talking. Hey, this is what you need to do in order to start growing your business. And what I'm sharing today is kind of some of the things that she got. Right now, she's about between $15,000 to $18,000 per month. It's been about 11 months since we first started working together. But this is kind of what she did. So number one, she was able to start getting clients by being very intentional with the little time that she had. Okay, so if you don't have a lot of time when you're first starting your business, you need to be focused on number one, creating assets and channels that are going to be able to grow your business even when you're either still at work or while you're playing with your kids or while you're on vacation. For example, she called me about 2 weeks ago and said, "Hey, I just got 3 clients while I was on vacation." I was like, "Oh, cool, you're on vacation." Didn't even know that, right? Because her business is still growing. She's still having those conversations. She has machines. She has people actively going out there for her. So number one, she was able to go and use LinkedIn as the main marketing channel for her, right? So whenever you use LinkedIn, we like to have two different approaches. The first approach is learning how to go and directly build relationships with the business owners that can afford to pay the most money. Now, some people always ask me, like, why do we use LinkedIn versus like Facebook or versus Instagram? I like LinkedIn because one allows you to be able to really understand who you're dealing with, right? Because you can go and filter people out by like how much revenue they're making, how many employees they have, how many contractors they have, who are the people actively inside their company. Like, do they have someone on staff that does accounting? Do they have someone on staff that does bookkeeping, right? The more that you know about someone before you go and start a conversation or start a relationship with them, the easier it is for you to get them to become clients. Because from there, once you know there's a need, once you know there's a fit, now your goal is just to build trust and the relationship with the people in order for them to over time want to work with you, right? Now, I like LinkedIn because a lot of this stuff can be automated as well. So, for example, the reason why she was able to get clients while on vacation, number one, is because the LinkedIn was automatically moving in the beginning and in the background while she was doing her work. So all she had to do was just literally look up, say, hey, this person reached out and said they're interested in doing some bookkeeping with me. When's a good time for them to speak? And then she would book a call, do like a 15, like 30-minute call. They're already pretty much sold on working with her, so it's just really, really easy to go. Excuse me. So that's number one, how she will get that first client, right? Using LinkedIn. So she chose the niche. In this particular case, the person was like a construction company. And when she did it, she had basically seen like who it was, like, is this industry, is this person kind of ready to go? They had a really quick message conversation, just like the automated system was able to go out and find them, find who's the best connection at that company to speak to, start the conversation. Like I give you guys like message scripts and that like it automatically send out the first message. After that, she evaluated like, who was this person? Does this person have the right mindset? Do they really want to get started? Are they going to be kind of a headache client, or are they going to be a pretty simple client? From there, she invited them to a consultation call. Consultation call took about, I think it was like between 36 and like 48 minutes long, right? And then the person ended up like saying, okay, cool, so send me the invoice, okay? So generally for me, I like to take payment over the phone because it's just a little bit easier in my opinion. In her case, she likes doing invoice. So she sent the person invoice over email. He paid it about 6 minutes after they got off the phone call. All I have to say is it was a very, very simple step. Now, there's a lot of little nuances inside of there, but the first thing that we're thinking about is how can we build a system that works for us while we are not there, right? Because most people, what they do is they try and, send like a million messages on like Facebook, or they try and do like a bunch of Upwork proposals, or they try and do like Craigslist, and always feels like you're kind of hunting, right? So it always feels like you're kind of on this treadmill because you're constantly trying to go push, you're trying to like hustle, you're trying to bustle, you're trying to move, and that can get kind of tiring after a while, especially if you have a full-time job, you don't have a million hours to push. So when you go and think about it, it's like, okay, cool. So number one, I can use LinkedIn. That can automatically be set up. All I have to do is just check some messages like 3 to 5 times a day. But then the second way that I love getting clients, we call it the 6FP method. That's learning how to get influential partners to start going and growing the business for you. For example, a big portion of my students, like whenever you see them get to like, $9,000 a month in like 27 days, it came from a partner. So oftentimes when you're just getting started in your business, you have to go and build your reputation, right? So some people, they try and do networking events, they try and, do cold calls, they try and, sit on boards, and they're doing that in an attempt to kind of raise their stock in the local area so that people start knowing them. And in a lot of cases that can work, but it does take a little bit of time, right? Um, if you want to be able to shortcut that, you need to start going and utilizing other people's relationships. So there are people that are already sitting on those boards that you're thinking of. There are people who are already spent, 10, 20 years building relationships with people. Oftentimes they might have like a connector personality. Like when I say connector personality, there's generally three big drivers. So I'm going to look at like psychology, right? It's like power is one, gain, it's either like financial or like achievement is like the second one. And then the third one is like connectivity. Okay, so people want power, like those are generally like your politicians, your presidents. That's their personality, so they're focused on. People who want achievement are generally the ones that, they're the people who are trying to make the most money. They're the ones who want to go and climb Mount Everest. They're the ones that are trying to basically test themselves and see how far they can go. And there's a third driver, which is connectivity. That's how many relationships. I build my value based on relationships. How many people know me? How many people can I connect? And they want to really just build a sense of community, right? So when you can go and tap into people in this section of that triangle of drivers, it makes it very easy for them to want to connect to you. And once you know how to identify who's the right people for you, right? The problem that most people have is like they don't know how to identify who's the right person. So whenever I'm thinking about like identification, you need to go and think, who is your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? Do you want to work with, like, let's say nonprofits, for example, right? So then if you know who you're working with, like nonprofits, okay, well, I'm looking at, nonprofit consultants would be a good referral partner. I'm looking at grant writers. I'm looking at people who sit on boards of nonprofits. I'm looking at who are IT consultants. I'm looking at if they have like a physical office, like a commercial real estate agent. Like I'm looking at who are all the different people that are sitting around your target market, who your target market has to deal with on a very consistent basis. From there, you start building those relationships with these people, right? Because birds of a feather often flock together. That means if they're sitting in one of the referral partnership opportunities, that means they know another referral partner, another one, another one, another one, another one, and then they know these businesses that are in the middle, so they can all just kind of drive and guide your name to that business that's going to end up working for you. And then they also know other businesses, right? So every single referral partner is generally going to know 3, 5, 6 different business owners who are inside of that target market or that target description you're looking for. Maybe it's not like a niche or a target market. Maybe it's a type of person you want to work with, like someone who respects numbers, someone who is very financially driven, someone who is very focused on using data to grow their business, right? Because that's who's going to really value bookkeeping or value monthly service or value CFO services, right? So once you have those partners in place, they can start going and giving it to you. Like a good example is like Melissa. So when Melissa was first getting started, she had a lot of like clients that were really low paying, right? And they would each take between like 1 to 3 hours per month, right? And she would take them on for like $100 to $150 a month, right? And at the time, she's like, I'll just keep taking them on because they're not taking much of my time, right? Which is what a lot of people when they're first starting out say, right? Because when you're first starting, you're looking like I'm trying to hunt, I'm trying to get as many clients as possible, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to leave my job, whatever the case might be. But if you don't take that step back and look at where you're going and think about who you're actually taking on, it makes it very hard for you to grow past a certain point. Most people are going to get capped off right around like $6,000 per month, right? Because if you're working a full-time job, you're working, anywhere between 30 to 55, 60 hours a week, right? And then if you have, let's say 10, 20 clients, each paying you, $100 a month, but, they take 3 hours per month, right? That's another 30 hours. You don't really have that much time. If instead you maybe had, 1, 2, 3 clients that are each paying you $1,000 a month, you have more time and you have a little bit more focus. You're not switching between client and client and client, doing all this interconnected client communication as well as meetings. Because even though the clients may only take you like 1 hour or 2 hours, you still have to speak to them. You still have to message them. You might have to do a meeting with them. They might have questions that pop up. They might all send you information at the same time. And it makes it very hard for you to focus on growing your business, especially when you have a full-time job. So instead, when you go after these partners, you're able to get better quality clients who you actually tell them to send you. For example, Melissa got like a $6,000 a month client from that first partner who she went with because she told them exactly what she's looking for. She said, "This is kind of the size deal I'm looking for. Someone who can afford to pay me, between $5,000 and $7,000 a month, right? Like if someone can't afford to pay me that, I just don't really have the time for that." So the referral partner, I always give my students like a pricing calculator, so you can actually give that pricing calculator to your referral partner. So the referral partner can look at someone's books and be like, okay, well, based on like what this is, especially if your partner's like a CFO or a CPA, and they can actually say, okay, so this person's actually a good fit because this is kind of the size of the deal and size of what Melissa would be looking for. Hey, Melissa, is this person gonna be a good fit? This is kind of what their business looks like. This is kind of what their budget is. Do you want me to send that information to you? And then when they send the information to you, you're able to get the client, right? Since you got like a $6,000 a month client off of one relationship that she built with someone inside the local area based on like, identifying the right person. And then when you stack enough of these relationships, you can grow as fast or as slow as you want because you're in full control. You can tell your referral partners, hey, I'm full right now. If you tell people like to come to me, just tell them there's gonna be a wait list, or just don't. Can you just like not really tell people about it for right now? And then when you're ready to grow again, you can say, referral partner, I'm ready. Can you open up the floodgates again? And then starts moving really, really quickly. So having both of those in place is really cool. That's kind of what we do when we talk about like marketing. Now, how to turn a no into a yes, right? Because half of the title inside this video was someone actually came back to her after about 6 months. So oftentimes, like whenever you see some of my students, like they'll grow their business, but you have to keep in mind between 30 to 50% of their business who sign up are people who might have sent like no to them like 3 weeks prior or like a month prior, like 2 months prior, right? Because whenever you're doing sales, there's a certain percentage of people that are ready today, but then there's like between 70 to it's like between like 50 to 85% of people are not quite ready to buy after the first consultation call, right? Now, if you're not great at sales, oftentimes, you might lose them forever, right? I do generally give you guys like a sales script when I work with you. And we do have videos on like my YouTube channel that just go, hey, this is how you should do sales, this is like consultations. I even give like a 15-minute script to see if like the person you're speaking to is qualified to work with you or if they're just kind of a tire kicker, right? And it makes it really easy for you to kind of sift through that and know exactly who you're speaking to. Now, assuming that you've done that, right? Let's assume you've done the sales call correctly. They've given you maybe an objection. Now, the key is you have to start really thinking about follow-up. Oftentimes, it's going to take you between 7 to 11 times of either messaging, talking, them seeing your post, or we call them touch points before the person's going to be finally ready to work with you or for them to change their mind. Now, there are ways you can like shorten, like if they see 7 touches in one day, yeah, you can speed up that call, and then you can speed up that sales process. But in some cases, it might be like they see like they get a follow up text message from you. That's one. They might get an email asking if they saw the quote. That's two. They might see you on LinkedIn. That's three. They might see you post something on Facebook. That's four. They might get another email from you. You might cold call them saying, "Hey, did you get a chance to see my invoice?" They might get like they might see a letter that you sent in the mail. They might see a gift card you sent them, right? They might see a handwritten card. The more times you can follow up with somebody, the easier it is for you to be able to get them to go. Now, most people, right? Remember, we said it takes 7 to 11 times before someone is ready to work with you, right? Of you touching them, contacting them, and you really being inside of their sphere of influence. Another touch point is they could actually see one of your, newspaper ads in the local area, or like a billboard of you, right? And then they could call you, and that could be a touch point. They could actually reach out to you 11 times, and each time be like, "Hey, I don't really know if I'm ready right now, but I'm still thinking about you," right? And eventually they start going. Now, most people stop at about two. Most people, like most salespeople, stop at about four. Most accountants and bookkeepers start at about one follow-up attempt, because then they say, I don't want to annoy the person, I don't want to bother the person's not interested, and they always have like a lot of like it's almost like self-doubt that you don't want to bother the person, right? When it comes to business, man, business is a contact sport. Okay, basic contact. That's actually a triple meaning, right? So number one, you got to be able to contact. Number two, everyone is a contact. Number three, you have to be in contact with the person just so you can keep moving and keep touching them over and over and over again. You can't get away from it, right? Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be you. You could have like an automated email sequence that you use. I have like a really organized follow-up process I take the students side of the program with. But for the average person who's just watching this, what you should be doing is right inside of your either calendar or your CRM every 30 days to check in with the person and just see like something about their life, like how are they doing? Okay, so whenever you're on a sales consultation and you notice that the sales consultation, like they're like, it's a no, or it's like they're not really ready to move, they have to think about it. You need to calm the conversation down and find something that they really enjoy, like in life. Like, do they own like a horse ranch? Are they, big fans of the Kentucky Derby? Do they like to paint? Do they like to play instruments? And then from there, you need to be sending them probably conversations, probably 1 to 2 months about things unrelated to business, just to keep the conversation going. And your job needs to be on a very set schedule, either like once a month, once every 15 days, once every 2 months. You'd be able to just reach back out to them and start having a conversation outside of just business. How I would generally recommend you do the cadence is your first message is just about, hey, have you been able to change your mind? The next cadence is going to be something about like a current event that relates to something you talked about on your call. After that, now we're talking about like probably about a month in, 2 months in, from when you originally did your call. Now you're going to do something more about business, like, hey, a couple tips on, like their bookkeeping. Then from there, you do another personal, right? And it's just delayed by 30 days, right? And the better you get at this, the more you can do and the more frequently you can do. The trick is you don't want to do it incorrectly. That means you never want to get mad at the person because they didn't buy from you or because they're not buying from you. There's no worse way to lose a prospect or no easier way to lose a prospect than the person says they're not ready. You get very upset, you feel rejected, and you cuss them out inside of like the messenger or inside of email. You got to keep a calm head. You got to be playful. You got to relax. You can send people gifts. Those are really funny. GIFs, some people pronounce them GIFs. You can send them cool YouTube videos, cool motivational YouTube videos. You could send them awesome business articles you read. It's just anything to put your face in front of them, as many options and opportunities as possible to get them to respond to you, right? Because if they reply, they will buy. The moment they start ghosting you, it does become kind of dicey. So you got to make sure you're having the cadence frequently enough to where they keep responding to you until they're ready to buy. Now, if you're making content, that's generally a really easy way to do, because then you can just send them like an email or text message asking them if they've seen the content, or just redirecting them to something that you've done in the past or that you're doing now to keep them updated with you. Okay, and that's just the easiest way for you to follow up. When you do that stuff, then you get messages like people saying, hey, I'm finally ready. Hey, I'm ready to go. Hey, I've been thinking about it. My last account, it just told me I need to get this thing done. I need to hire a bookkeeper. My CPA is stepping out, and now I'm looking to go and get a CFO, and I'm finally ready. I remember the price quote you did. Was that price quote still good? Generally, if it's still good and it hasn't been that long, it's been 3 weeks, and you just be like, yeah, let's go and let's do it, right? Then you don't even need to do another sales call. right? And this is how you really start getting good at sales without being a salesperson, right? It's just about being a very consistent, fun, nice human. And once you're able to do that, dude, that's where all the money's made. One quote that I like to leave you guys with is, "The money is made in follow up, man. Fortune is in the follow up." That's a marketing phrase that a lot of digital marketers know, but most people inside the accounting field have never heard that. So just keep that in mind. And also, hopefully you enjoyed something. Hopefully you got something out of this video. If you have any questions, right, hashtag connect. I'll be sure to reach out to you and answer any questions you might have had about this video or just anything in general about growing your business. And if you want some help growing your business, you're tired of doing it the hard way. Maybe you've been trying to grow, it's just not quite working the way that you want, or the way that you planned, or the way that you thought. You want to skip that line. You want to just avoid all the trial and error. So it's easier, right? Because you didn't start a business just to have a second job. We started so we can have the freedom to be able to do whatever we wanted in our life. So if you wanted to have that and you want to get there faster and easier, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me, see if I can help you. Now, I can't help everybody out. That's why I do these calls. I want to evaluate, like, do I actually think I can help you out? Because if I don't know if it's a good fit, or if I don't think that my methodology works with your personality or the way that you want to go about getting clients, then we can just depart as friends. I can give you some alternative routes. And also, some people they get nervous because they say, Bryce, I hear that your program is on the higher end. Like, it's not like $100 kind of program or like video course. It's a really step-by-step program we take you through in order to get you to your goal. So we do have funding partners. What that means, about 6 months ago, I partnered with 2 different companies, and they help students get funding to join the program. In some cases, depending on your payment history and just in your life and just your overall history, then you can actually get terms that are up to about 36 months. And one of the partners has 0% APR. So it's basically same as cash funding, so you can be able to grow faster. So if you want to grow your business, go ahead and click on the link. If you are worried financially that you can't spread out the payments, you won't be able to afford it, we do have that funding option. So there's really no reason why, if you have a desire to grow your business, you shouldn't do this call, you shouldn't work, you shouldn't get started. Because you're basically buying money at a discount when you join my program. So hopefully I see you on the call. If not, I'll see you inside the next video. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.